The U.S. men's national team capped off an incredible summer of soccer with a 1-0 victory over Mexico in the Gold Cup final at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on Sunday. This comes on the back of them also winning the CONCACAF Nations League tournament, again at the expense of El Tri, in a 3-2 extra time thriller. Now, with the summer of soccer concluded, Greg Berhalter and company have some burning questions that still remain about this squad heading into World Cup qualifiers. Fortunately for them, though, they've also answered some key questions as well. Let's start with one of those big ones, which was who was going to back up Josh Adams in the central defense. Turns out the answer to that is Acosta. Acosta played phenomenally throughout the Gold Cup tournament and has well earned the spot as Adams' backup. Should Adams falter or go down or be unavailable for some reason, Acosta can step in and do the job. He proved that during the Gold Cup, especially in the final, where he was possibly the best player out on the pitch, just absolutely all over the field, making several key plays for the United States in that 1-0 victory. The other big question that was fortunately answered, the center back position. Depth was something of a worry for the team going into this tournament because Aaron Long is out for an extended period of time with an Achilles injury, leaving John Brooks as the lone healthy center back on that number one starting squad. Turns out Miles Robinson is going to be one of those answers. He and Sands were a phenomenal tandem in the back, keeping Mexico out and keeping the U.S. to grinding out 1-0 victories, only allowing one goal the entire tournament, and that was a penalty against Martinique in a 5-1 victory for the U.S. that did not really mean much of anything. The center back pairing looks bright for the future. That is some critical depth. Now, one of the questions that remains unanswered, who will be the striker for this team moving forward? Unfortunately, no one has really emerged to wrestle that role from Josie Altidore, who the team would very much love to put out to pasture, but haven't been able to find a true heir apparent just yet. Timothy Weah has shown a lot of promise, but he is still very young. Josh Sargent was expected to take that role, but it appears that his biggest problem is an inability to score goals. He does everything else very well, but when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, he has struggled even with the national team, not just at his club level where it was widely assumed that he just didn't have the talent around him. Daryl Dike looked good at times during the tournament, but once he had a shoulder injury in the quarterfinal, he was very clearly not the same player in the semi and did not play in the final because of it, so the jury is still out on him. Matthew Hoppe is another potential option, the standout from Schalke who emerged out of nowhere this season, looked pretty good, but didn't play in that true striker role. He was playing more on the wing throughout this entire tournament, and while he did look great there and played a full 120 minutes in the final, he's still not necessarily the answer. That leaves one man, the MLS man, Giassi Zardes, who has been a tremendous comeback story. Someone that a lot of people would have written off of this team 2 years ago. He has developed a better first touch, he has developed better finishing instinct, and he could very well emerge as that number one option come the fall. Now, the last question that Berhalter still needs to answer, goalkeeper. This was one that was widely assumed to be settled heading in the tournament, and the bigger question was going to be who will be the backup. But instead, Matt Turner has come out and played so well. He was goalkeeper of the tournament in the Gold Cup, well deserving of the award, again only allowing one goal, and especially in the semi and the final, had to come up with some amazing heroics. He deserves a shot at the number one spot. He's probably a better shot stopper than Steffen, and the other factor is he's getting starting minutes. Yes, it's with New England Revolution and Steffen is at Manchester City, but that's where he's the backup and not getting extended playing time. Steffen needs to start looking elsewhere, or his job might be in jeopardy. That being said, Berhalter has remained adamant whenever asked about the question, Steffen is our goalkeeper, and Turner is the number two, but if Turner keeps playing the way that he has, he will begin asking questions about that. Now we'll shift our gaze into World Cup qualifiers coming up this September and see if the U.S. can really overcome their demons and this young squad can wrestle a spot in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. We'll have to see how they do, but we expect them to get it done.